Okay, guys, I think we got something that should be a lot of fun here. This is called Craziest Things Ever Captured on Google Maps. It comes from a channel called Be Amazed. So I like being amazed. I assume you guys enjoy being amazed. So let's see what happens here. This seems like it'll be
The
fun.
world is filled with an endless supply of oddities.
Hmm?
But before Google Maps and its Street View function came into being, many of these oddities went unnoticed by the majority of us. But now that Google has mapped out a considerable chunk
Thanks,
of planet
Google,
Earth for our viewing
for showing us
pleasure,
just
all of that
how
glorious
odd we are.
and often shocking weirdness is on display for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's zoom right in.
Oh, that's pretty terrifying. Is that a
When it comes to
malfunctioning
Google
parachute?
Maps oddities, there's no better place to start than Sampsonia Way in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This
Really?
street laid out an impressive coordinated effort in 2008 for the Street View team in one of Google's first rounds of snapshots.
Ah,
For
that's
starters,
good.
There's this mad scientist creating the world's first functional love beam. A little further down the street, there's a parade in full
Nice.
swing, complete with confetti. A few steps further reveals an escape attempt from a third-floor window, though the motivation for the humorous escape remains unknown over a decade.
I've been to Pittsburgh for baseball games and stuff, and we spent some time there. I didn't realize they were this funny.
Maybe they just really wanted a selfie with a Google car? These types of shenanigans are more difficult to plan nowadays, as publicly released Street View patrol schedules are much less specific now. If anything,
Bummer.
that only makes this street all the more magnificent.
That's pretty good stuff.
Flying over to Connecticut now, where Google witnessed two men bravely recreating William Tell's famous shooting the apple off the head trick. If you're concerned about the outcome of this situation, don't worry. When media outlets tracked him down after his humorous stunt went viral, the archer confirmed that no arrow was actually fired. The French
Oh.
just spotted the Google car and their
Should I be disappointed? No, I should be like, okay, oh, good, everybody's safe.
street
I'll
and
go with
quickly
that.
came up with the perfect scenario. What a couple of straight shooters. But Google Maps discoveries
This is
aren't
well put
all
together.
fun and games. In Sherwood, Arkansas, the Google car captured an ongoing house fire.
Oh,
as
shit.
well as the firefighters putting it out.
Well,
Worth
that's-
checking out if you have a burning curiosity. Likewise,
I was just about to say that's not something that I should make jokes about, and he makes a joke about it. He beat me to it. God damn it.
Google captured this burning van in Rio
Oh.
de Janeiro in 2010.
A white
Curious
windowless van?
onlookers seemed just as baffled by the act of apparent arson, especially this topless fellow who seems to be saying, "Oh, come on, not again."
Yeah.
Peak Street
He's
View
seen it
weirdness
before.
can be found, not all that surprisingly, in Tokyo, in the form of these pigeon people at the Tamagawa Aqueduct Greenway. While the bird people posed no Godzilla-level threat to civilization, the truth was even worse. They were
Yeah?
a group of internet fame-hungry bloggers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that he's right. That is worse. I was hoping it was some sort of cool cult or something, and they
In Victoria,
abducted a bunch
British
of people.
Columbia,
But
an animal mass person
kinda
of
boring.
a different species can be found. The absurdity is dialed up to 11 here, as the peculiar fellow chills by the side of the road with his banana in hand, surrounded by plastic flamingos.
what's
And
unusual
along
about
with
that?
A little horseplay.
that's my
Another intriguing
Thursdays.
creature appearing in Google's own data center is the little yellow man from the Street View icon himself. We once assumed he was just a digital icon, but he appears to be on the payroll. But the yellow
Good for
fellow,
him.
known as Pegman, isn't the only Street View character.
Pegman.
If you stray too close
There are a lot of different ways you could get the nickname Peg Man. Let's
to
leave it
Area
at that.
51 in real life, you could get shot by the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm.
But if you approach on Google Maps, the yellow guy gets his own little spaceship. Likewise, if you head
That's
over to
kinda cool.
Buckingham Palace in England, he turns into a mini Queen Elizabeth II. He turns into a merman if you hover your mouse over Hawaii. And at
I
Loch
got-
Ness, he turns into the Loch Ness Monster. Finally proving
I gotta check that out.
Nessie is real,
'Cause I'm
albeit in digital form.
I'm simple.
While
That would
Nessie is
entertain me.
notoriously hard to find, she's nothing compared to finding where you parked your fishing boat at this harbor in Mauritania. The harbor is overcrowded to bursting point and looks more like a petri dish than a place of commerce. It's a wonder there are any fish
Wow.
left in the sea once the day's over. A conversely
Holy
sparse
crap.
and notably odd top-down view can be found in California's Mojave Desert. These fully mapped roads were built in the 50s as part of the planned development of a town named California City. But the desert environs and
How stupid to name a city with the state name just followed by city. you'd have to be morons to do that. New
Economic
York.
woes stifled development, leaving many of the roads utterly devoid of buildings or infrastructure, save for a prison. Though the town's southwestern sections are slowly growing, most of those empty roadways are unlikely to be filled anytime soon.
That's kind of cool.
Other arid regions harbor even more
Excuse me.
eyebrow-raising sights, like this incoming dust storm captured in Sudan, kicked up by
Wow.
desert winds. This shock
That's-
on looker's face
that's
sums
kinda
up the uh-oh.
terrifying.
I know I'd be feeling with that apocalyptic dust cloud heading my way, although I'd probably be safely
It was at
inside
this
by
moment
now.
he
The
realized he
power
was
of
fucked.
nature can also be seen at this incredibly remote location, Antarctica. Explorer Robert Scott's hut, located on the shore of Ross Island, was built 109 years ago by the British Antarctic Expedition and is fully explorable today. Remarkably well preserved by the cold.
That's pretty
Countless
cool.
fascinating artifacts from the ill-fated expedition can be seen.
That's
from
really
beds
cool.
and gas lamps to a frozen penguin, which was presumably on the dinner menu. A street view
That's really cool. That's something I would like to see, but you know what? It seems like it would take a lot of effort to get there, and it would be cold. So I'll just watch it on
The
videos.
location of almost equal solitude is Hashima Island, 9 miles off the coast of Japan. The offshore mining facility was once home to over 5,000 residents before its abandonment in the 70s, and now stands as one of the world's eeriest locations.
Oh, cool.
You can click your way through the desolate streets and see the
I
concrete
like
buildings slowly being reclaimed by nature. Though
abandoned
parts of the
places.
island are open for visitors in real life, sticking to Google's version seems wiser.
Are you guys into those? I love those abandoned places videos. I don't know why. There's
After
just
all,
something.
Ghosts can't follow you home through your computer.
Right?
Right?
They can too. Those are
Another spooky Japanese location that
cool
can be
and
explored
eerie.
virtually on Street View is Nagoro Doll Village. With streets lined with creepy humanoids, you can see where the name comes from. But the backstory
hell?
is even creepier. The village originally had 300 inhabitants.
Wow,
But with a
big
decline in
place.
Japan's population, as of 2019, it only had 27.
Jesus.
But a woman named Tsukimi Ayano began repopulating the village in the 2000s.
all by
with
herself.
dolls.
Oh,
She initially
how do you do
created
that by
a doll
yourself?
to resemble her dead father, and soon
Ah.
began fashioning more. She's since crafted over 400, which now stand in all sorts of poses, many of which represent actual residents who've now passed on.
Just so you guys know, after I'm dead, which could be any moment now, after I'm dead, if Brax or any of my kids decide it's a good idea to make some sort of effigy of me, and to tell them not to do that shit.
It's maybe a little
Nobody needs
creepy,
more of
but
this.
at least they're quiet. One of the eeriest
That's
things
weird.
you can do on Google Maps, though, is time travel. Changing the image
like doing
capture
that.
date in a location like Joplin, Missouri, for instance, reveals a startling before and after comparison of a hurricane that devastated the town.
Oh, that's kinda cool.
Houses that
I didn't know you
cheerfully
could do
lined the
that.
street in 2007 simply no longer exist when you jump forward to 2012. The barren wasteland
Wow.
certainly brings chills and a notable hint of sadness by making the natural disaster's impact happen at the
Yeah,
click
that's
of a
that's
button.
kind of maudlin.
On to
Wow.
less depressing locations now, to Argentina, where the Google car itself appears responsible
Excuse me.
for some captured shenanigans. Moving
Uh-oh.
along, the street reveals a drink-laden truck pulling out ahead of the driver, which, by the time we reach the next snapshot, has had his goods knocked all over the road. Whether the Google driver caused the disaster or the truck driver simply took the corner too fast is unclear.
I th- he probably took the corner too fast, but I like this story better if Google rammed him. And they're like, "Fuck you, sue me. I'm Google. I got more money than
All
God."
we know is that Google's man on the ground didn't stick around.
This
to
guy
help,
would have a lot of money.
instead driving right over the spilled stock and getting the hell out of Dodge.
Always wondered about that phrase.
While that little
if
accident
he'd loan
went
me some.
unpunished, other locations see Google drivers being stopped by police. This unfortunate Street
Oh.
View driver was captured being pulled over by the Polish Border Patrol near Belarus, which isn't all that surprising considering
Hold on a
Google
second.
Street View is banned by the Belarusian government in much of the country. Heading
Oh.
near 2 miles further east could have meant a whole
What do you guys got to hide? It's nothing that cool. Trust me. Get over yourself.
lot of trouble for that driver, so the presence of these green cop cars was probably for the best. Soaring over to Hungary now, we find this man caught at a rather unfortunate
Oh.
moment. In an interview with the
Yes.
local newspaper,
Jeez.
the cyclist revealed he fell off his bike on his way home after a few too many drinks at
I
a
was-
party. Thankfully, Google has now blurred him out, allegedly for privacy reasons, but in this case, I'd like to think it was to save him further embarrassment.
That's kind of cool, though. If you're going to get hammered and end up well, face up in the street, get put on Google
This man
Maps.
in Rotorua,
That makes
New
it kind of
Zealand,
badass.
doesn't require any blurring because his face is already hidden behind the Darth Vader mask he opted to wear on garbage day. For some reason, though, Google
So I take
blurred
my
him
garbage
anyway,
out.
presumably to keep the Sith Lord's retirement location a secret. Sporting a comfortable-looking robe and slippers, it seems Vader's golden
I
years
am
or
your
less destroy all
father.
Jedis and more Real Housewives.
Garbage can.
In Birmingham, England, more evidence of fictional characters being real can be found, with several of Scooby-Doo's mystery
Scooby-Doo!
machines parked up outside a house. Either this is the home of the mystery-loving pooch's biggest
Wait a second,
fans,
what?
or Birmingham is a hotspot for ghosts, ghouls, and men in masks.
Yeah.
Well, that or he's taking on the Peaky Blinders.
Okay, hold on a second. How many mystery vans would you need? Scooby-Doo mystery vans there. I'm thinking one is enough, but hey, you know.
On to a different type
what
of
the hell
costume
do I
caper
know?
now with this orange jumpsuit wearing jogger. Spotted
Oh.
in Carletonville, South Africa, many web detectives were convinced the man was an escaped prisoner who
That
ended
would've
up on
been cool.
Street View after busting out of jail. But judging by the CWF printed on his back, which
Oh,
was
just
likely
a
an
worker?
abbreviation of Carletonville Workforce, keen-eyed Redditors deduced that the fellow was probably just in work uniform. Others
Oh,
continued to look
way
around
better
the
if he's
town
a
and found him again. And I'm not sure what an escaped convict
homicidal
would be doing
maniac.
helping people cut trees in their yards. But who knows? Maybe that's exactly what he wants us to
He wants us to think. He
Another
wants to be
Redditor
around
made
sharp
the ground-shattering
cutting
discovery of
objects.
an unexploded missile in Donetsk Oblast,
Oh.
Ukraine. It's likely left over from the second battle of Donetsk airport that took place in 2014. As you can tell from the devastated surroundings, most of the other missiles fired during the battle did explode as
They
intended.
worked.
With that in mind, I can't help thinking this group shouldn't be standing so close to the device.
Yeah, I'm
Staying
not,
with the
I'm
theme
not
of devastated
standing there.
locations, it doesn't get much
Call
worse
me a
than
pussy, I
Chernobyl.
don't care.
But amazingly, the radiation-cursed town is available in Street View with its abandoned buildings, overgrown
That's
streets,
so
old
creepy.
Soviet plazas, and desolate playgrounds. But creepiest of all is this long-abandoned classroom full of gas masks left behind in a hurry during the
Ooh.
evacuation of the nearby town of Pripyat. In the middle, someone's propped up a doll sporting one of those gas masks.
That's one of the eeriest things I've seen. What the fuck? Hold on.
Pripyat.
That is
In
super.
the middle, someone's propped up a doll
That
sporting
is
one of
just
those gas masks. You know,
super
in case you
creepy.
weren't already going to have nightmares. Now for
Wow.
something that looks
Wow,
creepy
wow.
initially, but actually isn't. Check out this bizarre site in Santiago, Chile. It looks like a lazy attempt to dispose of some old Egyptian mummies when everyone knows mummies should be recycled.
Right.
But being serious, it's actually a couple of trash bins
That
full
is
of old
serious.
mannequins from a store. Not that that'd make it any less terrifying for anyone unlucky enough to walk past them in the dark.
Sure. It's mannequins.
On the topic of things
It's the guy
bearing an uncanny
with the orange
resemblance to real
jumpsuit.
humans, or in this case humanoids, check out this formation spotted in Antarctica. The arrangement of wind-blown snowy mounds and icy crevices lends form to a very alien-looking face.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
not
help
horrifying.
feeling like this would be a great location for the next Men in Black movie.
Ah.
One with its uncanny resemblance to this character from the franchise. Or maybe this particular Antarctic hill is actually mid-sneeze. Antarctica is
Well,
pretty cold.
Yeah,
after
let's say it's
all.
chilly there. It could have a
What's
cold.
the craziest thing you
That was good
Google?
stuff. That was a lot of fun. There's some interesting things in there. And that whole, oh man, those abandoned places or places that have had tragedy like that, like a nuclear meltdown, that's fascinating stuff to me. I'd like to go investigate them myself, but then I got to get up and drive and, ugh.